Nilaglagan na sa Malacanang. Si Zelco, nilaglag na si Marcos at si Romualdez.
Patay.
Yung executive secretary, nilaglag na ni Marcos. Hindi na nila alam ang ginagawa nila. Pero ano naman natin, hindi talaga alam ni Marcos kung anong ginagawa niya. Kaya ganito ang ekonomiya ng ating bansa.
Kawawa.
Lahat tayo, support na noon. Lahat tayo, binigyan natin siya ng pagkakataon na baguhin ang ginawa ng pamilya niyang legacy, ng ama niya, Marcos legacy.
Green yung ribbon niya.
Pero sinayang niya lang. Yung Duterte family, binigyan siya ng pagkakataon, sinuportahan siya, binigyan siya ng tiwala, at pinakulong lang niya ang dating presidente.
Nakakausap mo ba yung tito mo? Si Nino Barzaga?
Na ginawa siyang president. He imprisoned the man who trusted him and the man who gave him
the man who betrayed
faith in leading the country. So dati ang sigaw natin BBM, ngayon ang sigaw natin Marcos resign! Marcos resign! Marcos resign! Marcos resign! Kasi wala nang kinabukasan ang ating bansa sa pamamalaan ng President Bongbong Marcos. Mag-resign ka na, ang dami mo lang ninakaw sa amin, ang dami nyo lang ninakaw, ang dami lang namatay, nagpa-party-party ka lang, na kumakain ka lang, natulog ka lang sa Malacanang habang binabaha at nagugutom ang iyong mga nasasakupan.
Ito ba yan sinasabi mo?
Ferdinand Jr., nicknamed Bongbong, governor of the family's home province, is the man in the flashing boat.
May evidence na nga kasi tayo eh. Noon pa, bata pa yan.
There was food and dancing and live music, including the revelers' version of a song that last year was a rallying cry to feed the poor. This version is memorable for its enthusiasm. Memorable too because the former First family and their friends didn't realize how hungry their own people were.
Didn't realize how hungry their people were. Ganun ang nangyayari ngayon. History repeats itself.
Political change at the very least. The palace tape CBS News gained access to are but a fraction of the library.
Tapos nandyan yung parents. Yan ang itinuro nyo kasi sa kanila.
And the legacy Ferdinand Marcos left behind. Jerry Bowen, CBS News.
Diba? Yung palang sinasabi ni Kiko.
BBM resign! Marcos resign!
Marcos resign! Marcos resign!
Anong gusto niyo sabihin tungkol sa mga cases na kinakarap niyo sa sedition? The 10 years been here.
Yung
sedition cases na...
sedition cases na laban sa akin. Okay lang, lahat naman ng kalaban ni Marcos kinakasuhan niya eh. Well, at least, now I can see na takot na rin si Marcos sa akin. Yun din yung nangyayari nung panahon ng tatay niya. Lahat ng
yan ang Kiko Barzaga, matapang. Di kagaya yung mga iba. Tapang-tapang, 777, 30-30-30. Sinisingil yung tax ni Marcos Jr. Pero ngayon na, allows na. Wala na.
Political opponents kinakasuhan, pinapakulong, and we will keep fighting until the end, until I'm imprisoned or killed. We will keep fighting corruption within the administration. We'll keep fighting Marcos. We will keep fighting Marcos as long as he is corrupt. Okay.
Thank you. Yung mga naglabas ng placard kahapon na Marcos resign, paulit lang. Masasabi ni Secretary John Vic, papaimbestigahan nila. Do you think ba nasa batas yun na pwede nila imbestigahan or makukulong? Possibly yung mga...
We're asking to resign.
Mga grupo na nagsasabi na may mga placard.
Nasa kanila yun kung magre-resign sila.
Kung akala ni John Vic na na illegal yung mag-call for resignation of a president, then that's his own opinion. But as we know, the ALG Secretary John Vic is not, hindi siya abogado, kaya it's all up to his interpretation. He can file cases, but I don't think it will hold up in court.
Anyway, let's move on. Ito nga, nakarating na sa international media ang bali-balita about sa bansa natin, and it's nakakahiya talaga, Ayan, makikita ninyo yung mga international press, hundreds of thousands rally. Alam nyo, kahit ganyan yan, kahit objective yung balita, yung mga ganitong nakikita. Kasi, ano to yung perception ng international is magbe-base sila kung ano yung headings ng bawat balita. So, tens of thousands rally in Manila over corruption. Andun pa lang yung word na corruption. Ayan, sa The Sun. Talagang malaki ang epekto niyan sa mata ng mga direct investors or mga investors. So, kaya makita nila dyan, panay flood control corruption. Ayan. Al Jazeera, corruption. Sa Korea Times, corruption. Asian Journal, kumbaga sa makikita nila sa international scene ay negatibo, negatibo din ang dating sa mga mga investors, mga tourism, gustong mamasyal sa atin or mag-invest, talagang bababa. Kaya nga nakita natin ng epekto nung yung dollar to peso, talagang mahina. Yung stock index natin talagang bumaba. Nagbenta ka ng gold, anong epekto talaga niyan? Talagang hihiyo talaga ang peso natin. Ano pa, yung tourism, bilang ng tourism natin bumaba. So tingnan natin ang balita international. Umabot na sa labas at nakakahiya na ang dating natin.
Story comes from the Philippines, where a public rift has emerged within the country's most influential political family. Senator Imee Marcos, who happens to be President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s estranged sister, has accused her brother of being a long-time drug user. Imee alleged that the president's drug use, specifically dependency on cocaine, has affected his ability to govern effectively. The allegations were made during a public rally in Manila, where she said her brother's addiction began decades ago, when their father, the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr., was still in power. Senator Imee also accused the president's wife and children of using drugs. She appealed to the armed forces, police and government officials to help manage her brother's condition. However, Senator Imee Marcos has not provided any evidence for these allegations. The President's office has dismissed claims as baseless and recycled. President Marcos' spokesperson said that Imee Marcos' remarks were a diversion from ongoing probes into flood control corruption, which could involve some of her allies in the Senate. The President's son, Sandro Marcos, also denounced the statements, describing them as unfounded and dangerously misleading. Senator Imee Marcos is close to former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte, a key critic of her brother. Duterte was arrested on an international criminal court warrant in March and taken to the Netherlands, where he's being held over the brutal crackdown allegations linked to his anti-drug campaign. All of this is unfolding against a much larger political crisis in the Philippines, where hundreds of thousands of people have been taking to the streets in a massive anti-corruption movement. More than 500,000 Filipinos packed a Manila park on Sunday, part of a 3-day rally, demanding a full and transparent investigation into alleged multi-billion-dollar irregularities in flood control projects.
The investigation that the Senate is conducting regarding the anomalies on the flood control projects. From what we see, because of the very slow progress of the investigation, it seems that they are straying away from the truth. That is why we are here. We are calling for the government to carry out a real, sincere investigation and not cover up for anyone who are involved in this anomaly. Whoever he is, whatever their position is in society, they should be held accountable.
Now, the Department of Finance.
Ang titignan pa rin dito nung international media or si Marcos Jr. pa rin. Kahit na i-claim ang presidente ng Pilipinas na siya lang ang bukod tanging nag-open ng corruption issue, kahit na i-claim niya yun, the mere fact na thousands, 500,000 ang nag-protest dyan at ang sinasabi nila, kaya kami nag-protest kasi nakikita namin may diversion doon sa talagang totoong may kasalanan. So, ibig sabihin nun, the president cannot control, hindi niya kayang ayusin yung investigation or hearing. Kasi nga, umiiba yung direction or papunta or patungo nung investigation nila. So, you can claim all you want na ikaw ang nag-open ng ano. Pero, gaano ka-effective yung investigation or hearing dyan sa corruption? So, ang ending nito, si Marcos Jr. pa rin, hindi maganda pa rin ang dating sa kanya. And economically, hindi rin maganda.
Says that the Philippine economy may have lost up to around $2 billion between 2023 and 2025 due to alleged corruption in flood control projects. The country's economic planning minister warns that as much as 70% of public funds for these projects may have been diverted since the scandal first emerged. This comes as the Philippines has weathered more than 20 storms this year. Typhoon Kalmegi killed at least 269 people in early November, followed by Typhoon Fanwong, which displaced 1.4 million and left 28 dead. For now, the President's office says it will focus on the flood control corruption inquiry. However, as this political drama unfolds, it has raised questions about unity within the country's most powerful family and about the impact such public accusations could have on governance, corruption probes, and national stability.
Ibang media naman, international media, ganun pa rin. Ang impact nito sa ekonomiya natin, kasi balita kaliwat kanan, Pilipinas, corruption Talagang bababa lahat. Direct investors, peso natin, tourism natin, bababa lahat. Ikaw pa naman pagbukas mo ng TV, nasa ibang bansa ka, nasa ibang ka. Tapos pagbukas mo ng TV, ganyan makikita mo. Ako, kung halimbawa, investor ako, iniisip ko, maganda bang mag-invest sa Pilipinas? Iisipin ko, paano maging maganda Kita ngayon, magkapatid nga nag-aaway Yung presidente at yung kapatid niyang senador, nag-aaway. Ang issue nila, corruption at saka drugs.
Accusations made by his sister. Senator Amy Marcos saying chronic drug use has left the leader, her brother, unable to eradicate corruption and to manage ongoing protests that are putting pressure on an embattled administration. His son, who is also in politics as House Majority Leader, has slammed Marcos as dangerously irresponsible. Communications Undersecretary dismissing the claims as baseless. Claire Castro insisting that Mr. Marcos will stay in office despite supporters of the Vice President Sara Duterte, who is allied with his sister, urging him to step down. Mr. Marcos grappling with fallout from ongoing investigations in widespread corruption, with two cabinet ministers resigning after their departments were implicated. The Education Undersecretary has also resigned. Mr. Marcos has since appointed new finance and executive secretaries. The presidential palace maintaining that this reflects Mr. Marcos's commitment to strengthening his government. All this as protesters ended days of rallies in the capital led by the influential sect that's Iglesia Ni Cristo. The INC had demanded accountability and transparent investigations into what they have called ghost projects. This is a project in which vast sums were invested for construction that either did not exist or were eventually substandard.
So, yan, epekto talaga niyan, hindi maganda sa mata ng buong mundo. And speaking of that, yung before kasi may mga balita na rin, like for example, yung lumabas na yung drug issue ni Marcos Jr., yung video na inilabas, nag-surface yan on international media, no? So ito, sa another pagkakataon, lumabas na naman ang pangalan ni Marcos Jr., nalagay na naman sa mapa ang Pilipinas, no, ng drug usage ngayong pagkakataong ito. Kung ikaw ba naman, hindi ka ba kung ikaw yung international spectator, hindi ka ba maniniwala na or magdududa na siguro talagang nag-detect talaga ito ng kasi hindi ito yung first, even okay, yung first na lumabas na issue is yung sinabi ni Tatay Digong na may presidente tayong bangag at adik. Binalita yun on international. Tapos, yung lumabas yung video, nag-surface yung video na may isang Marcos na nag-intake, nag-surface yan sa international media. Tapos, ito na yung pangatlo. Ito na yung pangatlo, mismong ate, kapatid, kasama mula nung bata, lumabas ang kanyang speech na sinasabi na adik ang kanyang kapatid at pati yung asawa at mga anak. Nag-surface yan sa international media kagaya nito. So kung ikaw yung international spectator, hindi ka ba magtataka? Eto, pangatlong beses na to na pinag-uusapan yung drug usage or pagiging addict ng presidente ng Pilipinas. So kung ilang beses ito na pinag-uusapan, hindi nakataka-taka na hindi na paniniwalaan ng taong bayan regardless kung may evidence o hindi. Kasi hindi na kagaya nito, di ba, nung nag-surface itong si Jonathan Morales. Bago ito, may sinabi si Kiko Siteng, for example. Ano sabi niya?
I remember Mr. Marcos as candidate today. Before. Never worked. All they did was go to the disco. And they were always high on drugs. I know them. They're the very same people supporting today. But I don't condemn them. That's their life. They have all the money. They have all the resources. They don't have to drag their feet and work and show people, even to pretend, you know. So I'd rather cast my lot with somebody who I feel can give us a break, just a respite, even just the jargon, even just the conversation. Just to change the conversation means a lot to many people.
Senator,
just the words used, even that.
Senator, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to go back to the statement that you just made, that the Marcos says, were you pertaining to the candidate now, Marcos Jr., when you said that he wasn't working?
Yes. Yes.
And the statement that you said about drug use, were you also pertaining to Marcos Jr.?
Yes, they were always high.
High on drugs. At sinabi niyan ni Tatay Digong, even nung nangangampanya pa lang si Marcos Jr.
Na nag-cocaine. There's even a presidential candidate na nag-cocaine. Yung mga mayaman sa Davao, ari ng lahat ng banana, ang distribution, yung nagsuside yung anak. May kandidato tayo na
addict.
Nagko-cocaine yan.
Inulit niya yan nung presidente na si Marcos Jr.
May drug addict tayo na presidente. Nung ako'y mayor, pinakitaan ako ng evidence ng PDEA. Doon sa listahan,
yan,
nandoon yung pangalan mo.
Nako!
Ayaw kong sabihin yan kasi magkaibigan tayo. Kung hindi magkaibigan, magkakilala. Ikaw pumapasok kayo ng alanganin.
So, sinabi yan ni Tatay Digong na nung mayor pa siya at nung siya presidente, binulungan siya, nag-report ang PDEA na nandun yung pangalan ni Marcos Jr. which is kinonfirm ni PDEA, ni ex-PDEA Jonathan Morales.
Po ba kayo dito sa mga dokumentong ito?
Yan po yung yung cover letter doon sa ginawa kong pre-ops at saka yung authority to operate para po doon sa aking boss.
Okay. So, ito po, sir. Familiar kayo dito? Kasi may pirma
niyo. Yan po yung authority to operate. Nakalagay po dyan yung yung mga vehicles na gagamitin para doon
So, malinaw kinonfirm ni ex-PDEA agent Jonathan Morales yung sana ay gagawin nilang operation para hulihin si Marcos Jr. Nanikluhod yung kanyang ate. Oo. Kaya tingnan nyo, nakiusap itong si ate kay PRRD noon na wag sana siyang isali. Diba? So, even Nikki Cositeng sinabi niya yon. Okay, Nikki Cositeng sinabi niya na addict. PRRD bago election sinabi niya yon. And nung presidente sinabi niya rin yon. Tapos ngayon, si ate.
Alam na ng buong pamilya ang problema sa kanya.
So, ibig kong sabihin dito, no, sa international media, no, nakita nila ito na binalita dati nung nagsalita si PRRD. Sabi niya may drug addict tayong presidential candidate. Nung presidente na si Marcos, sinabi ulit yan ni Marcos Jr. ni Tatay Digong na addict ang presidente ngayon. Ni-report yan, ni-surface nila yan sa international media. Okay? Pangalawa yun. Pangatlo ay ito, yung sinabi ni mismong ate, mismong kapatid ang nagsabi. Mula bata hanggang ngayon, magkakasama yung mga. So, the veracity or the truth in it is maybe 100% kasi magkakapatid yung mga yan eh. So, 3 beses na nag-surface, 4 na beses, pangapat yung video, di ba? Yung video na inilabas, although sinasabi nila na AI o ano, pero at least yung pinag-uusapan ito sa international media, may epekto pa rin ito sa international scene at may epekto ito sa ekonomiya natin. Kasi kung maraming beses na pinag-uusapan about sa drug usage ng isang tao, malamang 100% nakapanipaniwala yan kahit walang evidence kung ilang beses itong pinag-uusapan at marami ng taong nag-a-attest, nag-a-account na merong ganitong nangyari. May operation sana, nahulihin yan. Nakita namin yan kasi party-party yan. Magmula nung bata pa, mahilig sa party tapos magkukokain yung mga yan. And the worst is ito yung sinabi mismo ng ate. So paano na hindi natin mapapaniwalaan kahit walang evidence kung maraming beses itong pinag-uusapan. At ang worst dito is napipick up na ng international media or international spectators, yung mga iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa natin. So, ang epekto ito hindi maganda talaga. Kasi paniniwala ng tao to kasi titignan nila yung headings ng balita, yung kabuuang context ng isang pahayag or balita. Basta nakita nila dyan, may drug addict, may corruption. So talagang malaki ang impact nito sa ating bayan. As you can see, Philippine, magbabalita pa rin sila. Ang balita pa rin ng ito, syempre, government controlled itong PNA na ito eh. So, ang balita pa rin nila is PH, economy strong as government sustains fight versus corruption. Ganun ang ibabalita nila. Kunwari, parang delusional. Kumbaga nagdi-delusion sila. Or gusto lang nilang i-portray na hindi, walang effect ito sa atin. Strong pa rin tayo kasi this is the only government na nagbulgar ng corruption. Pero in fact, sa mata ng mga banyaga sa ibang bansa, at siyempre sa mata nating nakakakita ng totoo, nakakaranas on the ground, talagang mararamdaman natin na hindi naman totoo yung mga ganitong balita nila. So, anyway, ito makikita mo talaga dito sa pamamahala or pamumuno ng Marcos administration. Wala talagang kasiguraduhan dito pag ikaw ay nagtrabaho dito. Maaring kasama mo ngayon, buddy mo ngayon, best friend mo ngayon, best working relationship kayo ngayon. Pero kahit gaano kalaki ang ambag mo dito sa taong ito, later on, ganun kanya kadaling i-dispatch. Nakita na natin yan. Ginawa nila kay Attorney Vic, doon kay VP Sara, talagang dinispatch. Walang kaabog-abog talaga. So, nakikita natin yung ganyang kaugalian hanggang ngayon. Like for example, itong si Lucas Bersamin. Before that, like si Torre, di ba? Binigyan nila ng mission kay Pastor Kibuloy. Binigyan nila ng mission na kidnapin si PRRD. Pero at the end of the day, hanggang ngayon, floating pa rin yung status nitong si Torre. No? Tapos, eto ngayon, pinaka-latest, Lucas Bersamin, for 3 years, nagsilbi bilang Executive Secretary. Amina Pangandaman, for 3 years, nagsilbi bilang budget ng Secretary, Finance, budget secretary, parang wala lang. Tapos ngayon, sisiraan nila. Babaliktarin nila. Yung Zaldico na ginamit nila for 3 years na appropriations chairman. Ngayon, ano nangyari? Kinikriminal na nila. Kinikriminalize na nila. Tingnan natin, ano sabi ni Bersamin?
Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin saying he did not resign but was told he had to go. That's contrary to Malacanang's announcement Monday he quit his post out of delicadeza. Our colleague here in ANC, Karen Davila, posting on her social media her conversation with Bersamin, who said a certain person called him November 17th that he had to go, but he said the call was not from Malacanang. Bersamin also telling Karen Davila he is not the mastermind of anything. The former executive secretary adds he needs to protect himself and his reputation. The palace announced that Bersamin and Budget Secretary Amina Pangandaman resigned out of delicadeza after they were dragged by resigned Congressman Zaldico into the corruption scandal hounding this year's national budget.
Alam niyo mangyayari niyan sa susunod. Kasi as of now, medyo andun pa sa pagtatanggol pa yan ni Bersamin si Marcos Jr. In fact, sinabi niya din later on, mas safe daw tayo kapag si Marcos Jr. yung presidente. Yun yung sinabi niya. Despite the fact na ginanon siya ngayon. Pero later on, kagaya yung ginawa nila kay Zaldico, no? Na nung una, medyo hindi pa nagsasalita si Zaldico kasi pinangakuan siya na you better stay there, huwag ka nang umuwi dito, kaming bahala sa'yo. Pero later on, nararamdaman niya, abay teka, parang ginagamit akong poster boy. At ako pala yung kakasuhan nila. So, doon na siya nagsalita. Ganunin ninyo ng ganunin itong si Bersamin na Amina Pangandaman at makikita ninyo, susunod din yan sa ginawa ni Zaldico. Kasi wala talagang utang na loob itong si Marcos Jr. Speaking of Carmina, no? Nakita ko kasi itong interview ni Carmina with Attorney Vic Rodriguez. Dito na, I think napanood naman ninyo ito, no? Medyo napahiya itong si Carmina nung the last time. Kaya siya na lang ang sumuko.
Looting of public funds. Nadagdagan pa ito ng issue ng drug addiction. So, yung investors' confidence, both foreign and local investors, it will not be comforting for them to see that key positions in the Marcos Jr. administration ay may mga movement. Yung corruption issue alone, Carmina at mga kababayan, hirap na silang lagpasan. Nadagdagan pa ito kagabi doon sa revelation mismo ng presidential sister regarding the president's drug addiction. So ang issue na pumapalaot sa ating bansa ngayon, hindi lamang korupsyon, kundi drug addiction.
Here's the thing though, Attorney Rodriguez, we're not just talking about some administration here. We're talking about an administration that you helped put into power. What is your sense, from your vantage point, how would you describe the Marcos administration now?
magkakaroon na ito ng inability to govern. Sapagkat yung tiwalang ibinigay sa kanya ng sambayan ng Pilipino noong May of 2022 naubos, Carmina. Nalulungkot ako in a way because ang daming nagtiwala noong 2022 hoping that the Philippines will take off at pangungunahan niya yung pag-alis ng ating ekonomiya from its pandemic state. Pero nakikita natin ngayon, bagsak ang ating GDP, bagsak ang ating foreign direct investment, bagsak ang ating piso, bagsak ang ating stock market, bagsak ang kumpiyansa ng mamamayang Pilipino. And again, hindi lamang sa issue na ng korupsyon ngayon, kung hindi yung issue ng drug addiction, bumalik na naman dahil nga categorically, sinabi ng presidential sister mismo kagabi, yung pagiging drug addict ng kanyang kapatid, ng Pangulo mismo ng Republika ng Pilipinas. And this is serious. You know, you have to take into consideration what I always and repeatedly say, yung Article 11, Section 1. Public office is a public trust. Public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people. Yung drug addiction, Carmina, is not just a crime. It's a brain disorder. It's a public health issue. At yan may kinalaman din sa Article 12, Section 7 ng ating saligang batas, that in cases of serious illness of the President, the public must be notified as to his state of health.
Here's the thing, though. As I said a while ago, Attorney Rodriguez, you helped. You were also responsible in putting this president to power. Didn't you see any of these allegations of the president's sister way before it was divulged by Senator Amy Marcos?
I've said this many times, Carmina, and I will say this again in your program. I am no virgin when it comes to talks of his being a drug addict or drug dependent or...
Yun ang sinasabi natin Hindi na bago yan kasi laging marami din nang sasabi na addict talaga yan. Kumbaga common knowledge. Oo. Yun lang ang pinakamatindi dito. Yung mas magsasabi mismo yung mismong ate mo.
Drug user. Pero wala akong nakitang personal nang kami magkasama. Hindi ko talaga nakita And surprisingly, he was able to produce a negative drug test result specifically for cocaine use. And that was sometime in 2021. Pero hindi nga matapos-tapos ang isyong ito, tinuldukan pa o exclamation point pa kahapon ng kanyang kapatid. So, ang kinakailangan gawin talaga ay sumailalim sa open, fair, transparent, and credible hair follicle drug test.
We're going to be talking to the press secretary in a moment after I talk to you to get his reaction to that. But let's move on with this interview. I was able to see one of your live streams, Attorney Rodriguez, and you said, and this is not verbatim, wherein you said, kung nakinig lang sana, kahit 50%.
Anyway, dito sa my last part.
Angat na rin yung pressure sa...
Dito sa my last part kasi, pinag-usapan dito yung successor.
Again, corruption is destabilization.
But that's where it gets tricky, Attorney Rodriguez, because who stands to benefit?
Destabilizer o kaya yinuyug-yug ang takpan yung mga alyado every time na may lalabas at magsasalita, ang laging sasabihin lang, destabilizer o kaya yinuyug-yug ang gobyerno. Again, corruption is destabilization.
But that's where it gets tricky, Attorney Rodriguez, because who stands to benefit from your call for the president to step
Who stands to benefit? Ayan.
down?
The Filipino people, Carmina, para matuldukan na itong korupsyon na ito.
How can the Filipino people stand to benefit if the vice president takes the presidency by virtue of the president stepping down?
Natawa si Attorney Vic kasi alam na niya yung patungo
When you're just going to put in place another dynasty whose history is also peppered with allegations of corruption,
Ayan, mapapahiya ka dyan, Carmina.
Instability in behavior, even murder, deaths of the deaths of countless deaths of your countrymen, Attorney Rodriguez, not to mention the damage to freedom of expression, which you oddly enough claim to protect as well. Go ahead.
Si Attorney Vic.
Are you saying...
Which you, oddly enough, claim to protect as well. Go ahead.
Are you saying that when Bongbong Marcos, assuming he will step down, we will abandon the 1987 Constitution and skip the rule on succession? You've mentioned about murder. Meron bang kasong murder ang Vice President, Carmina?
I'm talking about another dynasty. She's another member.
Ano pa murder. Sabihin, pag, di ba, parang sinasabi, ang kasalanan ng tatay hindi kasalanan ng anak, di ba? Sinasabi nila yan. Pero, kahit na ganun, hindi naman proven talaga na murderer si Tatay Digong, di ba? On the Philippine justice system, wala ni isang kasong isinampas sa kanya. Kahit na DOJ pa noon, si Laila de Lima. So dahil hindi nila makasuhan, alam nila ang sistema sa ICC na kahit walang masyadong evidence, may magsalita lang, pwede.
The family member of another dynasty.
Na mas malaki ang boto sa Pangulo. Wala tayong magagawa ron. I never advocated anything that is outside of the constitutional loop or constitutional orbit.
But here's the thing.
By the rule on succession,
wala na nagme-meltdown na yung isa.
When the president is no longer capacitated to govern, the vice president shall assume the role of the president.
But how can you...
Wala magagawa ron. Hindi ko inimbento yun. Hindi mo inimbento yun. Iyan ang ating saligang batas.
But how can you, Attorney Rodriguez, separate your advocacy for anti-corruption from this constitutional succession, as you said? The Vice President, who stands to benefit from your call, is also mired herself in corruption allegations. How does that reconcile with your anti-corruption advocacy?
125 millions na under investigation ng COA na ano siya, may ano yan?
As a media practitioner, alam mo na walang ini-issue at clear na ng Commission on Audit ang Office of the Vice President kung ang pinatutukuyan mo ay yung paggamit ng intelligence funds. At walang nakabinbin na anumang kaso or impeachment laban sa pangalawang Pangulo. So yung sinasabi na meron siyang issue ng korupsyon, yan ay gawa-gawa. Nakikita naman natin nung makakaliwang grupo na ayaw nang makabalik ang tatak Duterte na serbisyo. But hindi siguro tayo matatapos dito kahit maghapon tayo sa iyong programa. Ang aking tugon doon sa iyong katanungan kung sakali
gusto ko na si Carmina dyan.
Bumaba ang kasalukuyang Pangulo, naturalmente umiiral ang ating saligang batas, ang Vice Presidente ang siyang hahalili sa mababakanting posisyon. Wala akong magagawa doon, wala kang magagawa, hindi natin pareho imbensyon yan. Iyan ay nakasulat, nakagaranti.
Naka-ready yung visual aids mo, ay ang ebidensya.
At nakaukit sa ating 1987 Constitution.
Again, people are saying, or at least there are groups who are saying, why...
There are groups. Sila lang yun.
Stop at the president. Why not include the vice president as well? Yun ang sinasabi ng iba. Ang panawagan, hindi lamang ang iisa ang dapat mag-resign, kundi lahat na mag-resign because they have... disappointed the Filipino people. But we're going to have to leave it at that. As you said, pwede
ayaw na niyang pasagutin si Atty. Bing.
ay maghapon magdiskusyon. But I appreciate your time being with us this afternoon.
May sasabihin pa sana si Atty. Bing, sunugin ka ng sunugin.
Former Executive Secretary Vic Rodriguez there joining us.
Natawa na lang si Atty. Hindi kasi pinasagot.
Salamat po.
Salamat.
So ito lang ito may napansin talaga ako, no? Alam nyo, I just realized. Itong ginagawa ng mga ngayon, yung mga sa kabila, yung mga makakaliwang grupo or yung mga dilawan or pinklawan, nakikita nila yung corruption na nangyayari. At nakikita rin nila yung drug addiction at alam nila yan. And they acknowledge na nangyayari talaga yan. Pero ito kasi, once na in-insert mo sa usapan yung succession, which is the VP, allergy na nila yan. So, makikita mo talaga, no, pag, alam ba, itong si Winnie Monson, ipapakita ko sa iyo in just a little while, no. Ano kumbaga makikita mo, sa unang dinig, sa unang tingin natin, maganda itong sinasabi ni Winnie Monson, talagang nakikita niya yung ginagawa ni Lacson, for example, na parang pinoprotektahan niya yung presidente. At isinusuong niya yung mga nasa baba para lang maprotektahan yung si Lacson. Ganda nito, ganda yung sinasabi. Pero pag tinanong mo sa kanya na paano yan pag mapababa si presidente, o diba, susunod yung vice presidente, biglang kambyo. O panoorin natin ito. Kaya doon mo makikita talaga na kahit magkaroon tayo ng addict na presidente, kahit magkakurap tayo, punahin man natin, okay lang. Okay lang, basta wag lang susunod ang Duterte. Ganun yung ano nila ngayon.
I don't know. You know what is that term? Let's not go from the frying pan into the fire.
Ito.
President,
this is operating only within that level that the president doesn't know. That's what Senator Ping Lacson said.
Well, that means that Senator Lacson must think that the president is so incompetent and is so stupid, he does not, that his undersecretary ito, hindi man lang secretary, walang takot sa kanya. That's for the court of public opinion to decide. But Ping Lacson cannot tell me that these people, these underlings, operated without the knowledge of the president or without even the president whiffing his men. We're not talking about millions here. We're talking about billions. I mean, isn't it rather odd? Is that believable? Is that believable? I mean, I would like to ask Senator Lacson that. Do you really think, Senator Lacson, that si President Bongbong is so stupid? And he's so, do you believe that what his sister said, that he is a drug addict, so he does not know what's going on? And he just goes there for with mga idiot boards so that he can talk in public. Hindi naman pwede yun. Either you think that the president is capable, or do you think the president is stupid?
So they would want stupid, bangag, addict, incompetent, corrupt na presidente kaysa yung magkaroon tayo ng Duterte. Kasi tignan nyo, maganda yung kanyang sinasabi dito. The same with us na hindi tayo naniniwala na yung doon sa insertion, walang alam yung Pangulo. Kasi as Zaldico admitted na si Marcos Jr. ang nagpa-insert niyan through Martin Romualdez. Sinabi kay Zaldico para gawin ni Zaldico kasi siya yung chairman ng appropriations. So for Ping Lacson, nasasabihin niya na yung undersecretaries na dalawa, si Oliver at saka si Adrian Bersamin, hindi ka panipaniwala para kay Winnie Monson. Sa akin din at sa inyo rin, di ba? So tama yung ano natin dito. Until darating tayo doon sa question, paano kapag napababa itong si Marcos Jr., okay pa ba sa'yo yan? Sabi, tinanong.
An addict he is. But definitely, he is more an addict than Laila de Lima ever was. Laila de Lima never took a single bit of drugs. And she was...
Kahit dito sa drug na topic, na issue, naniniwala si Winnie Monson. Tingnan nyo.
That the president and his family, well, at least the president and his wife, partake of this, I think it's cocaine. Taking cocaine. Okay. That Amy brought it out. I mean, if...
But does this help? I mean, does this help the economy? Does it... Because with these allegations, the president was elected anyway. right? And Malacanang has said it has been proven.
There were no public charges. That's why that's why Amy went. I think Amy went to Duterte and said, "Please don't include his name," or something. In other words, Amy was complicit in electing her brother, who she knew was taking drugs. I don't know whether he's an addict or not, but he's been taking drugs. Maybe he takes drugs for, what do you call that? Yung taking drugs for entertainment or whatever. Yung not serious. I don't know how serious an addict he is, but definitely he is more an addict than Laila De Lima ever was. Laila De Lima never took a single bit of drugs, and she was...
So naniniwala siya kay Senator Amy Marcos doon sa revelation na yon.
Considered a drug queen, di ba?
Oh, I think to close is because we don't have enough time. We're actually...
Okay. Naniniwala siya, corrupt at addict, pero...
over time is this family fighting, the investigations, all of this. How does this affect the economy? And I'll be honest, his own administration.
You know, let all the truth come out. Truth never hurt anybody, but truth never hurt a country. Knowing the truth is better. But at this point, President Marcos is our president. All right? I don't want him impeached.
Diba? Hayaan mong bangag yan. Ayaw kong ma-impeach. Yun pala, syempre, may dahilan.
I don't want him impeached at this point. Let him continue what he's trying to do. I mean, he has done some good. Let him continue that until 2028.
Until 2028, kung saan pabagsakin nila si Sara muna. Tapos 2028.
Certainly don't want any of his relatives or his, to be re-elected. I don't want that.
Ayaw niya rin kay Marcos sa 2028.
Filipino people realize that this bunch of people, except for a few, this bunch of people we have in Congress and the Senate should not be re-elected. They're all involved. My God.
All right, but I think to close, you do say one thing. Regardless of how you feel about the investigation, you say one thing because your voice is influential, is you don't want the president impeached. That's one thing you're making clear today.
Who is going to be
impeached? That's one thing you're making clear today.
Who is going to be the president? Just ko po naman. Let's not go from the fire to the I don't know. You know what is that term? Let's not go from the frying pan into the fire.
Wag daw nating sunugin yung nasusunog na frying pan. So ibig sabihin mas malala daw si VP Sara nito. Yun ang ibig niyang sabihin yan eh.
Di ba? Let's just get this done, whatever we can do at this point, and the president can do a lot at this point.
A lot of corruption at this point. So let this get over with, no? Kung may corrupt man, okay lang. Kung may drug addict man na presidente, okay lang. Wag lang yung susunod yung vice presidente.
He doesn't want to get Martin involved. Well, we will go ahead with all the rest. Right?
So now, naiintindihan na natin kung bakit lagi, di ba, nag sila nung 1 trillion peso March, di ba? Walang Marcos resign doon. Ngayon, naiintindihan natin kung bakit walang Marcos resign. Gusto lang nilang labanan, kunwari. Sige, labanan ng totoo yung corruption. Pero yung endgame nila, hindi pwedeng mag-resign si Marcos Jr. Not until meron na silang maipapalit na magmumula sa kanila. Kasi as for now, eto kasi yan eh, as for now, yung presidente ngayon, nakakapag-corrupt pa sila. Yung mga drug lord, drug dealer yan, nakakapag-deal pa sila. Kasama din yung mga yan eh. Yung smuggler, nakakapag-smuggle pa sila. Pero, once naging presidente si Sara Duterte. Hindi na nila magagawa yung dati na nilang nagagawa under Marcos administration. And for now, mas matitiis pa nila na magkaroon ng isang Marcos Jr. kahit despite the fact na meron silang mapait na naranasan nung panahon ng tatay niya, mas matitiis pa nila yon dahil weak itong taong ito, unlike nung tatay niya na very strong. Okay? Itong si Marcos Jr., weak siya at nakakaya pa nilang according to their interest, nakakaya nilang, alam mo yun, na hindi masasagasaan yung interest ng mga makakaliwang grupo na yan. Diba, nagsibalikan yung mga rebelde, nagsibalikan yung mga adik, nagsibalikan yung mga talamak na corruption. So, nagagawa nila yan. Pero makikita nyo na kung merong slight na kontra dun sa interest nila, dun sila nagsasalita. Diba? Mararamdaman nyo nagsasalita sila against Marcos kapag merong slight, kahit slight lang na against dun sa interest nila. Pero majority na ginagawa ni Marcos Jr. ay pumapabor kasi sa interest nila. Kaya mas natitiis nila itong administrasyon nito kaysa yung paparating na Duterte type of government. Yun ang ayaw nilang kasi alam nila hindi naman yan sila bulag eh. Hindi naman sila tanga, bulag na hindi nila alam yung aalamano speech ni Marcos Jr. Hindi nila alam yung drug addiction niya, yung pagiging magnanakaw ng pamilya nila. Hindi naman alam nila yan. Kaya lamang titiisin muna nila sa ngayon. Ayun ang ano dyan. So, ayan. And ito nga, kung mabalik tayo doon sa drug addiction nitong si Marcos Jr., sabi ko nga ilang beses na yan na napag-usapan din at nag-resurface yan on an international media. At ako, dalawa sa mga instances na nakita ko na talagang kitang-kita mo yung manifestation ng pagiging, yung high na high siya, ay noong na-kidnap si Tatay Digong. Kung titignan natin dito, makita ninyo yan.
At Villamor Air Base.
Yung tingnan niyo yung pikit nung kanyang mata. Tingnan niyo yung wet yung kanyang mata at namumula at yung kanyang salita.
After his common law wife, Anilet Avancenia, and members of his entourage
tingnan niyo.
arrived at 9:20 this morning.
Dilated din yung kanyang mata. Yung pupil niya malaki.
From Hong Kong on Cathay Pacific flight number 6.
High na high siya dito kasi siguro kailangan niyang magpa-press con, di ba? After na ipalipad si Tatay Digong.
907. Mr. Duterte was arrested in compliance.
Tingnan niyo yung pikit niya. In compliance. Hindi naman siya lasing. Pero the pikit is talagang nagmamanifest yung high na high siya.
Commitments to Interpol. Hours before his arrival, Interpol Manila
parang
received
inaantok
an official copy of the ICC warrant. This prompted the Prosecutor General of the Department of Justice.
Tingnan yung pikit niya. Kita niyo yung pikit niyang ganon? Ano yan eh? Sign yan.
Asked for help and we obliged because we have commitments to the Interpol which we have to fulfill. If we don't do that, they will no longer help us with other cases involving Filipino fugitives abroad. This is what the international community expects of us as the leader of a
diba? Binabasa na nga lang.
Democratic country that is part of the community of nations.
Kita niyo yung pikit?
I'm sure that the details that
So, itong gabi nito, after napalipad si Tatay Digong, napansin ko na to na talagang nagmamanifest dito yung pagiging high na high niya. At isa din, bukod sa, kasi araw, hindi mo masyadong mapansin, no? Pero dito, napansin ko dito, no, merong ano sa kanyang ano sa ilong. Ayan, may naiwang residue sa kanyang ilong ceremony. Dito. Ayan o, ayan o. Kita nyo, ayan o, puti. Nakalimutan niyang punasan sa pagmamadali. O, may residue doon sa kanyang ilong. Eh, syempre, itong mga bagong defender, ano, hindi na tayo magtataka na talagang todo depensa sila kasi lumabas yung sinabi ni Zaldico yung about sa Malimaleta. Kung ganun ba naman ang offer sa'yo, talaga todo depensa ka. Pangalawang issue doon is yung halimbawa, yung mismong si Lacson, ano, meron siyang case kasi. Kaya gaya yung sinabi nung isang biglang bumaliktad, sabi, dito muna ako, baka galawin kasi yung kaso ko. Baka ganito din ang mangyayari kay Lacson kung hindi siya papabor kay Marcos Jr. Kaya nga, hindi rin ako magtataka kung bakit ganun si Mayor Magalong ngayon kasi may issue kasi siya doon sa Baguio City. O kagaya nitong si Lacson, may kaso pala
4,600,000,000. Ang capitalization niya ay 20,000.
Oh.
Yung kumpanya niya tinayo noong 2015. Can he afford this? Ngayon, nagbayad ba siya ng tamang tarifa? Nagbayad ba siya ng tamang tax sa BIR? Ito po yung record ng kanyang shipment. Ang alam ko lang, until this morning, yung 4 lang. Ngayon yung sa Bicol, take note. Noong October, again, sumubok magpakita si Lacson ng dokumento doon. Hindi nakalusot doon sa collector doon. So napilitan niyang bayaran yung $16. Yan yung pang-4 niyang shipment na nahuli.
Di ba? Smuggling yan ni Lacson doon sa kanilang sariling, kasi contractor ng semento yan yung anak niya, di ba? So hindi malayong mangyari na naka-held hostage itong si Kaya makikita niyo, in fact, dito kay Guteza, hindi nga natin mahanap-hanap kung nasaan na siya ngayon. Kasi mabigat yung kanyang bitaw na nag-corroborate doon sa sinabi din ni Zaldico. So kung sino yung mga totoong nagsasiwalat, sila yung hindi natin, like for example, sabi ni Lacson, kailangan niya munang umuwi, magpakita at mag-execute siya ng affidavit or mag-sworn statement siya, sabi niya, pertaining to Zaldico. Para maniwala tayo na totoo yung kanyang sinabi. Itong si Guteza, na pumunta ng Senado, nagpa-authenticate pag nagpanotaryo pa, after niyang mag-testify sa Senado, anong ginawa sa kanya? Diba? In-issue siya doon sa notaryo. Unang-una, sabi daw, hindi siya kapanipaniwala kasi pinipeke yung notaryo. Regardless kung pineke o hindi, nag-sworn statement siya sa Senado. Pero anong ginawa? Hindi siya pinaniwalaan. Ngayon sasabihin nila kay Zaldico, ang gobyerno willing siyang protektahan, umuwi lamang siya at mag-testify siya. Isang malaking kasinungalingan si Gutesa nga Hindi nga nila pinaniwalaan. Tingnan natin to.
So, itinakda po yung aligasyon na mga nilabas ninyo sa kasagsagan po ng flood control scandal. May mga political analysts po tayo nagsasabi, this is kind of a political maneuvering on your end. What can you say about that, sir?
Well, first of all, for so many years, hindi ako nakisali sa ganyan. In fact, salita dito, pag hindi ko pinresent, hindi magsalita, kung hindi ko pinresent si Sergeant Gutesa, kay Senator Marcoleta, yung konsensya ko naman na may alam akong nangyari sa bansa natin, may alam akong nangyari, at ito naman yung nanggaling din kay Gutesa na doon pala sir napupunta yung mga pera ng flood control. Mga ganito nangyayari. Binaha po yung mga kamag-anakan namin. Yung isa po namin kasamang sundalo, yung pamilya niya, wipe out po yung bahay. So, wipe out, sa Bicol, taga Bicol daw, sabi niya, dahil nga daw binaha. So sabi niya, so iniisip ko, kailangan nitong marinig ng Blue Ribbon Committee. At that time, si Senator Marcoleta was still the chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee. So, nung nag-usap sila, actually hindi na siya chairman noon. Kasi the next day na yon nangyari. It was about, natapos kami ng 6 p.m. nung final na, tapos Next day, lumabas si Sergeant Gutesa at sinabi niya na yung kwento niya. Marami siyang kwento. Alam mo, marami siyang kwento about, yung binanggit ko na yung iba, yung DOH, may binabanggit pa siya doon sa mga media. Pero sabi ko, Sarge, siguro maganda focus tayo sa flood control. Yan yung issue ngayon, yung delivery ng pera. And yun nga yung pinakita niya doon na...
Marami pa pala siyang alam, hindi lang sa flood control. So, yung senador, yung house, or yung gobyerno natin, kung talagang gusto nilang puksain ang corruption, ito yung key. Susi itong si Gutesa. Delivery, nagdi-delivery. Yung dalawa din na kasama ni Gutesa na nagdi-delivery, si Mark at saka si Jason, nasana yung mga yun? I mean, these people play a very important role in solving the problem of corruption. Pero anong nangyayari? Sila pa yung kinakasuhan.
Ilan yun? 45 na...
48 suitcases.
48 suitcases na more or less may 48 million each suitcase. So isang delivery 2.5 billion. At sabi nga niya minsan mas maliliit pero 3 times a week. So ano to? Ano nangyayari sa pondo ng bansa?
Marami pa palang alam.
Saan pupunta yung pera natin? Tsaka bakit ganito? From the appropriations to the speaker, at the time ganun nangyari. Pero nitong lumabas si Saldico, sinabi na nagdi-deliver kay President Marcos, sabi ko, grabe na to. Kaya pala the whole time ganito yung nangyari, ang Pangulo involved mismo sa nangyayaring korupsyon, sa nangyayaring nakawan sa gobyerno.
So kung Mike, ikaw, nung lumapit sa iyo si Orly Gutesa, you took his word for it. You're very discerning. You're a politician. You know how to read people. What made you believe that he's credible? What proof did he show? Aside from the affidavit, no? Na even the affidavit is questionable because nga yung pagnotaryo, no? So ikaw, ano yung naging basa? Ano yung what led you to believe na credible siya na witness or credible yung kanyang salaysay?
Yung kwento doon, in fact, nung nagsalita na siya at sinabi niya na yung delivery ng pera, and then sinabi niya si Paul Estrada and si Mark Teksay, alam kong totoo na yon. Kasi itong dalawang taong to, ang nagre-receive ng pera at nagdi-deliver ng pera for Saldico. Tapos sinabi niya sa akin, may 90 sila na kasamahan, na kasabwat dito sa mga, hindi naman kasabwat, pag-deliver, kasama sa pag-deliver.
Dami pala nila.
Yung pagnotaryo was part of that. Alam mo, nung nagsalita siya, sinabi ni Senator Marcoleta, ipanotaryo mo yan. Ang sabi ko, and I argued against it, sabi ko kay Senator Marcoleta, hindi na kailangan ng notaryo niyan kasi mag-under oath yan sa Senado. Anong ginawa nila? We were not with Sergeant...
Ito na lang, no? Halimbawa, walang notaryo ang nangyari. Diretso siya sa Senado. Ano na naman kaya ang palusot nila? Diba? Kasi like for example, itong si Ping Lacson, diba? Sabi niya nung una, kung mag-i-insert lang ang presidente sa BICAM, bakit sa BICAM pa? Bakit hindi sa NEP? Sabi niya, di ba? Nung chinek nila, meron talagang insertion sa BICAM at hindi sa NEP. Anong palusot niya? Oo, totoo na merong insertion sa BICAM, pero hindi involved dito ang Pangulo. Dito kay Gutesa, no? Marami siyang isinalaysay doon. Nakahanap sila ng paraan, ng rason, which is yung notaryo. Paano kaya kung wala yung notaryo? Ano kaya ang rason na naman nila para i-discredit si Gutesa, di ba? Gutesa,
nagpanotaryo siya. Nagpunta siya, nagpanotaryo siya. Walang ibig sabihin yung notaryo na yun because he was to be under oath the next day. Pero nung ginawa ng kabila, pinressure yung notary public, di ba? Pinressure yung korte na sinasabi peke. Pinressure yan kasi si Attorney Macalintal mismo may petition sa Supreme Court, the same notary, the same signature. Tapos yung judge sinabi, i-convict mo yan si ano. Paano mong gagawin yung pepekiin mo yung notaryo? Pero ang sabi ko noon kay Senator Marcoleta, huwag mong isipin yan. Pinapalaki nila yung issue, pinapakalat nilang peke yung statement ni Gutesa by virtue of the notary, lalo silang mapapasama dyan. Which happened. Kasi yung mga taong bayan na mismo sumagot, yung mga lawyers na mismo sumagot, na hindi totoo yan. Yung ginawa niyang statement will stand in court because it was, again, stated in the Senate, sinabi niya ulit sa Senado under oath. So sabi ko, lahat ng to kami na ng Diyos. Lahat ng to nangyayari na wala na tayong...
Saka kahit na sabihin na natin, okay, sige, sabihin na natin kahit walang notaryo or sabihin na natin ano kaya ang patunay nitong si Gutesa? Kahit wala yung Paul Texon at Jason Mark na yun. Kahit wala yun. Nung nagsalita na si Zaldico, corroboration yun doon sa sinabi ni Gutesa. Hindi ba? Doon pa lang. So, instead na sabihin nila Remulla na ganito, maganda to. Yung sinabi ni Gutesa at sinasabi ni Zaldico, nag-corroborate. Oh. Diba? Kasi dati hinahanap nila. Wala namang ibang pahayag. Si Gutesa lang naman. Wala namang ibang pahayag na nagko-corroborate doon sa sinasabi niya. Lumabas si Zaldico. Nag-corroborate doon. Totoo ang sinabi ni Gutesa. At talagang match doon sa sinasabi nilang mali-maleta. Pero anong ginawa nila? Inanampan nila ng butas si Zaldico, which is umuwi ka. Kailangan mo mag-testify, mag-sworn bago kasi kung wala yan, lang yan, hearsay lang yan. Kwento. Napakahusay, di ba? Pero pagdating kay Bato, alam na this.
Sila maaaring magbigay ng komento sa kanilang mga desisyon.
Maraming salamat po. Wala po ako magagawa. Si Senator Marcoleta nga tumahimik Opo, di tatahimik na rin po ako.
Mag-iba naman po tayo ng area.
Area. Kay Bato.
Medyo na-high blood po si Congressman Sherwin.
Sige, shortcut natin.
Tama po ba yun, Mr. President? That is correct, Senator Marcoleta.
May I know, Mr. President, that...
Tignan medyo mapakamot dito si Kiko. Pinapakita lang niya na wala talaga siyang alam. Tingnan nyo.
Senator Marcoleta.
May I know, Mr. President, that... or do these rules apply only when there is an existing... extradition treaty between the Philippines
sabay kamot, sabay tingin. Anong yung sasagot ko dyan?
An existing extradition treaty between the Philippines
kamot,
and the requesting state.
That the court administrator says yes. Answers in the affirmative.
In the absence of an
that the
and the requesting state.
Kamot.
That the court administrator
state. Extradition treaty between the Philippines and the requesting state.
That the court administrator says yes.
By implication.
By way of extradition, yes.
Okay. The rules refer to a requesting state with whom the Philippines has an extradition treaty. If the requesting entity is not a state per se, Mr. President,
nako, Diyos ko po.
Such as the international tribunals, o sabihin na nating ICC, do these rules still apply?
Apply! Pag si Bato, pag kalaban, mag-a-apply. Pag hindi kalaban, hindi mag-a-apply. Ganun lang kasimple ang Marcos administration ngayon. Kapag ikaw ay kalaban, tapos ka na. So, from here, saan pa tayo patutungo, di ba? I mean, tayo gusto nating lumaban, ipaglaban, labanan ang korupsyon, labanan ang kontra-droga, labanan ang ipaglaban ng ating pamumuhay. Pero tayo ang kinakasuhan, tayo ang pinapatay, tayo yung pinipressure, kumbaga. So, paano pa tayo lalaban kung ang ginagawa ng administrasyon, ginagamit nila ang pera ng taong bayan? All the resources they can use, tao, pera, pagkakataon para tayo ay patahimikin. Saan pa tayo pupunta nito? Siyempre, hindi naman lahat ng tao matapang. Hindi lahat ng tao kayang manindigan at makilaban, lalo na pag may pamilya, di ba? Lalo, nakita nyo naman, ng mga ibang nakita natin, akala natin ang tatapang kung magsasalita noong una. Ngayon, nakita ninyo kung nasaan na sila ngayon. Yung iba, tumatahimik na. Yung iba halos nagka-amnesia na doon sa mga pinaglalaban nila dati. So ano yung aasahan natin? Meron pa yung dati na pinaglaban natin yung gobernador sa may Oriental, Misamis Oriental ba yun? Oo. Yung gusto nilang pababain siya sa pwesto, binarikadahan pa niya yung nagtago siya doon sa kanyang provincial capital. Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan nun eh. Pero after a while, nakita natin na na-reinstate siya doon sa pagiging gobernador niya. Tapos nakita ko na lang na sumusuporta na siya kay Marcos Jr. Pero Duterte yun eh. Hindi ko maalala kung anong nun. Kaya hindi rin ako magtataka na one of these days yung mga kagaya ng mga Duterte allies natin, one of these days yung iba sa kanila biglang matitikom yung bibig. Yung mga dati nating sinusuportan, one of these days ay iiba na yung timpla nila. Hindi na rin ako magtataka. Baka nga yung si POV, kasi yung si POV, another day, another budol. Meron siyang meron siyang bagong vlog ngayon na sinasabi niya na maganda naman ang pagka-explain niya. Kaya lang halatado Medyo halatado from that context kung titignan, alalalaman niyo at iintindihin niyo yung the way yung vlog niya na yun. Ang punto niya doon is hearsay yung ni Zaldico. Umuwi ka, mag-testify ka, mag-under oath ka, saka yan ay magiging valid. Sabi niya, di ba ganyan yung sinasabi nila? Sabi ko nga sa inyo Yang si Guteza, under oath yan pero nakahanap sila ng butas para sunugin ang kanyang credibility through that notary. Through that notary itself. Lumabas si Zaldico na mag-corroborate doon sa sinabi ni Guteza. Anong ginawa nila? Si Zaldico naman ang sinisira nila ng credibility. Insider yun mismong kasama sa budget, sa plano ng budget. Lumabas ng mga videos na saan kinakausap nila yung AFP chief na eto, subsistence allowance din nyo, blah blah blah. Kasama siya doon. Na siya na ngayon ang nagsisiwalat ng anong pinaggagawa nila. Anong ginawa nila? Umuwi ka. Hanggat hindi ka umuwi, hearsay yan. Tapos ganun ang vlog ni POV. Regal, another day, another balimbing. Hindi na ako magtaka kung may mga ganyan later on, yung biglang babaliktad. Kasi gigipitin ka yan Kung may kaso ka, gigipitin ka. Kung hindi man, o-offeran ka ng pera. Kung hindi ka magpapa-offer ng pera, gigipitin ka kung may kaso ka. Kung hindi man, gigipitin ka, by tatakutin ka. Another day, another budol.